Hey everybody, so in today's video we're going to be talking about the weather in Florida. Now, one of my favourite sayings about the weather in Florida is, if you don't like the weather in Florida, wait 5 minutes. This just gives you an idea of how changeable the weather can be and how it's really difficult to predict on any given day what the weather is going to be like. I do apologise now because I watch a lot of the Weather Channel when I'm in Florida, and that means that all of the temperatures that I can relate to in my head are in Fahrenheit. Where I can, I will try and translate them into Celsius for you, or I'll put the caption on the screen. I'll go on and convert it later, but I always think of temperatures in Florida in terms of Fahrenheit because that's how I recognise them. The main thing to remember about Florida is that it is a subtropical climate. So this means that for the majority of the year it is sunny and it is warm. However, it also means that there is very high humidity, particularly in the summer it can be extremely sticky, and there are thunderstorms. Lots of thunderstorms, big thunderstorms. They are spectacular to watch. The lightning is incredible. They do happen on a daily basis. They do tend to be short. They last from maybe 30 minutes to 2 to 3 hours, and then everything goes back to being nice and warm and sunny again. And the joy of it being so hot is that everything dries out really, really quickly. The rainy season is also accompanied by hurricane season, which is June until November. Doesn't mean that there are going to be lots of hurricanes, doesn't mean there aren't going to be hurricanes. It's just the period which statistically hurricanes are known to form. In all of the years that I've been going to Disney, I have only had 3, I won't say encounters, experiences with hurricanes. The first was in 1999 when I lived in Florida, and Hurricane Floyd was predicted to be a direct hit on Central Florida. However, luckily, as with a lot of hurricanes, they travel across the Atlantic, and then when they get to the warmer air around Florida, they actually get pushed up northwards. We did just get a lot of rain and a lot of wind. It wasn't really much different to the regular storms, it just lasted a lot longer and was a lot more intense. In 2016 I was affected by Hurricane Matthew, which was supposed to hit, I think it was the Friday night where I was travelling on the Saturday. And then in 2017 Hurricane Irma hit the week before we went. So we weren't directly affected by the hurricane. That was a massive hurricane. It did make direct landfall with Central Florida, but Disney has great preparations for hurricanes. They remove anything that can fly around and that can break. They'll, nail anything down that they can. And they keep guests safe as well, so people were told to stay in their hotels, extra characters were put on, extra activities were put on in the hotels on the occasions that the park was shut. We did see some damage from the hurricane when we got there the following week. The railroad had been closed because of trees on the track, and the Jungle Cruise had also been affected for quite a few days. I think it opened the day before we got there. Having said that, that's no different to when we went to Hong Kong. Disneyland in Hong Kong was hit with a typhoon, I think about 3 or 4 days before we got there. So we saw the same sort of thing at Hong Kong Disneyland as well. So in general, there are lots of things you need to be aware of with the weather, lots of things you need to take into consideration, because a lot of it can be considered quite severe weather. So first of all, you can have quite high heat. It is hot in Florida. Even in the winter it can be as hot as sort of 30 degrees. In terms of the heat, it can be very, very hot. You will dehydrate very, very quickly and you can get sunstroke. So the key things for the heat are, make sure you are either wearing lots of sun cream and make sure you reapply regularly, or you are covered up with light floaty fabric. Don't wear anything dark or heavy because you will boil in a bag. And make sure that you wear a hat. Now, lots of people like to wear ears when they go to Disney. I wear ears at Disneyland Paris. I don't wear ears at Walt Disney World. 99% of the time in Florida I will be wearing a baseball cap because I need to have my head covered. The other thing to remember is to drink lots of water. So what I like to do is get a bottle of water on my first day. I keep my bottle and I just refill it. A lot of people don't like the drinking fountain water. I've never really had a problem with it, but you can get free iced water at any quick service location if you just go in and ask for it. Keep your bottle and keep it filled. Every time you get in line for an attraction, finish your bottle of water. That's what I challenge myself to do, because then you know that you are drinking plenty of water. Aside from the sunshine, you then also get the storms, and the storms are very extreme. They will pick up in a split second. 1 minute it will be bright blue skies, the next minute the temperature will drop, the sky will turn black and the wind will pick up, and it will just happen instantly like that, and you will know that a rainstorm is coming because you will just feel it blowing in. The rain will start to fall. Big, fat, heavy raindrops, and within a matter of minutes there will be inches of water on the ground. So pack spare shoes and spare socks, or do what I do and get a cheap pair of plastic flip-flops and carry them around in your bag. At the time it starts raining, take your shoes and socks off, put your flip-flops on, jump around in the puddles, wade around in the water. Some people like to wear ponchos. I do, it's easier. It keeps my bag underneath my poncho, so it keeps everything inside and dry. Other people like to wear just raincoats, which I find can be a little bit warm. They also don't cover your bottom or anything else if you want to sit down on anything wet. And other people use umbrellas. I personally wouldn't use an umbrella because of the massive lightning. I wouldn't want to be walking around anywhere like that with essentially a lightning rod in my hand. So that's just something to bear in mind. The attractions outdoors, some of them will shut when it rains, others will keep going, but everything will shut for lightning. If there is lightning within 10 miles, they will shut the outdoor attractions. The water parks do shut down in that everybody has to get out of the water, but they won't force you to leave immediately. Once there hasn't been a lightning strike within 10 miles for 30 minutes, you will be allowed back in the water, and that's the same with the attractions and stuff as well. Once the threat of lightning has passed, they will open up those outdoor attractions. Sometimes if there's no lightning, if it is raining, it's the best time to do things like Big Thunder Mountain because nobody else wants to do it, so the lines will be really, really low. So my best advice for when it is raining is just put your poncho on, swap your shoes for your flip-flops, and just go and dance in the rain. Because it's warm, you'll dry out, and you're on holiday in Disney, so just go ahead and do it. One of the most fun days I've had in Walt Disney World in Typhoon Lagoon, and it absolutely tipped it down for about 3 hours first thing in the morning. And the cast member said there was about 400 people in total in the entire Typhoon Lagoon park. Just went around the lazy river by myself, I went down the water slides by myself, there was no lines, I saw hardly anybody. For 30 minutes we had to go and sit under a cabana with the lifeguards. They were also evacuated undercover because of the lightning, and then it rained for another half an hour after that maybe, and then it was absolutely stinking hot after that. So in terms of a bit of a guide for different times of the year, there isn't really seasons in Florida. It's warm, it's warmer than most other places. Even in the winter, but it's obviously degrees of warmth because it is colder than it is in the summer. Also within those times you will get variations. You could be there for a week and you could be swimming in the pool one day and you can be wrapped up in a coat with gloves and a scarf the next day. You don't really know. So as a rough guide, if you look at December to March, these tend to be the cooler months. You can get frost. There has been snow in Florida. The lows overnight can dip down as low as 40, which is I think about 5 or 6 degrees. So stuff does get cold, and in the evening when it gets dark it will be quite cold. Lows tend to be most of the time sort of between 40 and 50. When I was there in January it was averaging about 45 overnight. And it can range anywhere from 60 to 80 during the day. I mean 80 is very high for that time of year, but it happened 2 days out of 8 that I was there in January, so it is not an impossibility. So for those months I would say you want to be packing layers and you want to be packing stuff that you don't mind carrying around with you. I started off most days with jeans, leggings, hoodie, a little quilted gilet, and gloves. I found really helped with keeping me warm, even though it was quite chilly and I felt cold all over. As soon as I put gloves on I did feel a lot better. And then during the day you're going to want to take stuff off because it is going to get warm. You could just be walking around in shorts and t-shirt during the daytime. As soon as it starts to get dark it is going to get cold again, so you're going to want to start putting all of that stuff back on. From April to June it does start to heat up a little bit and it can get hot. You can be looking at highs of the 90s to hundreds. When I was there in 2017 in April, Dapper Day, which I think was the 27th of April, was 102 degrees. So that's the type of weather where you need your hat, you need your sunglasses, your sun cream, and you need to drink a lot of water. So for April to June, I would personally just pack maybe one pair of trousers, maybe a pair of leggings and a hoodie, but the rest of the time I would probably be okay in shorts and t-shirts because it is starting to get a little bit warmer. And then towards May you're looking at the rainy season starting as well, so it could start to rain daily for, you know, short periods of time, and then it will dry off again, so make sure you pack your poncho. From July to September you are looking at heats equivalent to the face of the sun. It is hot, very, very hot. It will be in the hundreds, and with the humidity, what they call the heat index, or the feels like, could be as high as 110 degrees. It does feel very, very hot. On those days it's really important to make sure that you have a hat, you drink lots of water, you've got sun cream on. At those times of the year the parks are open for longer, so go back to your hotel, have a swim, have a nap, take advantage of the longer park hours and spend the hottest parts of the day inside or in the shade. Just go slow, use fast passes and just drink water. Something else to bear in mind in the summer months is air conditioning, so you might want a jacket or a light cardigan as some kind of cover up for air conditioning. I have what I call my sleeves, which is a little bolero top. It's only a cotton top, it's made of t-shirt material, but when I'm wearing tops like this in the park it just covers up my shoulders and my upper arms, which do tend to get quite cold in air conditioning, and it's tiny, it crumples down into a little ball, so it just fits in my bag really, really easily, really, really lightweight. October and November time it will start to cool down. October still can be very, very hot, although it does start to come down into the 80s really, and November slightly cooler again. These times of the year again you're going to be thinking maybe you might want a pair of jeans and a jacket for the evening or very early morning. It will start to get a little bit cooler. You will possibly still see rainy days in October. I went for 3 weeks one October, I think it was 2014, and it rained about 19 out of 21 days. And not just the afternoon showers, it would rain solidly all day. So it does happen. You can get days like that. We went to the Kennedy Space Centre and the woman on the bus next to us said, wow, this is the wettest October we've had since 1976. But it didn't matter, we still did everything that we wanted to do. It didn't really make a difference to the trip. So it could still be rainy, I would still pack a poncho, but you are less likely to need it than you would be in, say, August. Finally, for actually checking the weather while you are in Florida, I recommend downloading a weather app which has a radar. I use one which I just found, I've had it for years, I can't remember where I found it, but it shows you the weather with the temperature, but it also has the radar, which is the most useful thing. Because if it starts to get grey or it starts to spit, you can look at the radar and you can decide whether it's going to be rainy just for 10 minutes or whether it's going to rain for a couple of hours. And as well as the radar apps, you can also watch the Weather Channel. If you are a bit of a nerd like me, all I watch pretty much when I'm on holiday in Florida is the Weather Channel. The Weather Channel is quite good fun, and it gives you, every 10 minutes will give you a local update of your weather, so you can watch every day and see what's happening. First thing in the morning they'll give you a morning, afternoon and nighttime weather forecast, and it will give you the 7-day forecast. I think they do that once an hour, so that's always really, really good to catch up with, and you can follow them on Twitter as well, which I do because I'm a nerd. So I hope this has helped. In general, yes, Florida is hot, but it's also wet. Make sure that you are prepared for the heat, make sure you drink lots of water, make sure you wear lots of sun cream, pack your poncho, pack a pair of flip-flops. If you're going in the winter months, pack some layers and some gloves, and you should be absolutely fine. If you have any questions about the weather, or you're not sure about anything that I've just explained, then leave a message below in the comments and I'll try my best to explain. Otherwise, I will see you soon.